I'm the one that cleaned up the neighborhood, basically. Been trying to, I bought an abandoned house and fixed it up. So I've been trying to get a lot of things together around here. Hopefully it works out. And thank you for trying to put something back into the neighborhood. Thank you ever so much. Yes, thank you. It's been hard. I've been here for 12 years and it's been something of a doozy. But I've been trying to turn things around.
Good morning, everybody. This is exciting to have the unveiling of the Walls to Windows project. My name is Carol Briney. I'm the founding executive director of Reentry Bridge Network out of Canton, Ohio. I'm going to use my notes so I don't leave anything out and we can move through this real fast because we have 10 more houses to go to. This project came together because Warden Maggie Bradshaw from Richland Prison grew up in this city, and I live in this city, and so we had a history. When I first moved in here, I moved to the Northwest Quadrant and lived there for a year. And I had just driven through that neighborhood and found that the wave of drugs had really devastated it. So then I drove on to Richland Prison, and the whole time I'm going, man, there ought to be something we could do. I got to thinking about the artist at Richland Prison and thought about this project for the 65 miles of going in. Went into Maggie's office, who happened to be in a position to listen to me that morning, and said, blah, 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 blah. And she says, do it. So that was the beginning of it, and it came together beautifully. We've got about 20 artists from Richland involved in it. We've got about 114 panels, counting the short ones too. Each house has a theme. We have 11 houses. The reason there's not 13, because 2 houses worth of panels are in the back of my car. We installed the houses because of demolition schedules. We had to uninstall them, and then we installed them again. So we'll get the other 2 houses put up this week. The reason that we did this, the main reason that I was motivated and inspired to do it, was because of the children that live in the neighborhoods, and they deserve to look at something a little bit more than raggedy houses, really, pretty much, you know. We know all the social theories. We know that if you walk out, the house that you see as you step out your door is all torn up or boarded up or ugly. That has a subconscious effect on you. So there probably are 6 or 7 social theories that by putting this art up, it helps the children that walk by. It brightens the neighborhood.
What a great idea, and I traveled up from Chillicothe this morning, which was a fairly lengthy trip, because this is in 41 years, this is one of the most unique opportunities and projects that I've seen. So before I get into a few comments, I'm going to ask Mayor Healy to come up and say a few words since we're guests in your city.
I can tell you, when I took over Canton 8 years ago as the mayor, we identified about 4,200 houses that were vacant, in a state of disrepair, and would be eyesores or potentially houses that would need to be demolished in our city. Since I've been here, we've torn down over 1,400 houses, but there's still 2,800 of them scattered around our city that need to be addressed. And this is where the partnership comes in, because we get calls all the time that we've got a house with a broken window, it's vacant, and we need to put a board up on it, and it looks bad. It takes a bad house and makes it look worse. So in addition to what we've done here today by putting artwork up and changing the look of the neighborhood, you know, the concept was brought to me that we would have inmates painting, and what they would do is paint windows and curtains and maybe some shadow figures inside to make it look like the house was lived in just from the board up side, instead of having a broken window or a board there. When the art came in, and it wasn't that concept at all, it's you know, wonderfully painted art, and you'll see if you look around the different artists, it's amazing. And I am even more excited today than I was when we had the concept in place. In fact, one of the requests I've had is you're going to have to talk to those other cities and tell them that they're going to have to find their own jails and prisons, what have you, to work with, because I think we're going to occupy you guys for a while. What I'd like to do is I would like to be able to provide the boards for you and allow your inmates to continue to paint and to continue to bring art and make it available to us. And as we have board ups, and we have board ups every week in our city when we get the calls to go in and address these houses, I'd like to have an inventory of these things that we can take and use on future board ups that we're doing continuously for as long as we can have this partnership, because I think it makes such a difference. And what you really see is, like I said, we were out here hanging those boards. It was amazing as the people in the neighborhood would come by and stop to see what we were doing and then look at what was being put up there, and the response was so positive. It was amazing, and they were thanking us and just really appreciative that we did something, that we cared enough to address a really bad situation and make it just somewhat better. But I think one of the things that I'm most appreciative of is the inmates themselves and them taking the time to do something that's really going to be positive in a community that they may never step foot in.
I've got 41 years in, and it's amazing to me that this idea came out, and it's wonderful. And I, like the mayor, want to say a few things. First of all, Mayor, this wouldn't happen even with the inmates' talents if the staff at Richland didn't support it. And Maggie, we're going to hear from Maggie Bradshaw here in just a minute. But it's not just the warden, it's all the staff. We've got correctional officers, we've got activity therapists, we've got staff that support this, along with Carol's kind of creative ingenuity and all of the engineering of all the materials and everything else. I just want, and I know that it's important for me that the inmates will see this and see their work. So I just want to say to the guys the artists, take a minute to thank the volunteers like Carol that comes in and the staff that support this, because it wouldn't happen without them.
I was very excited. I was thrilled that she wanted to do something in the City of Canton with this art project. Carol is very creative, and so it's always fun to hear her ideas and get with her and see what we can do. So we were thrilled that we could do this. We're thrilled that the mayor allowed it to be done. I want to thank Tom Hutchins, because he got together the inmate crew that fixed up these pictures, and Jennifer Galeese, because she was instrumental in helping Carol get all the supplies she needed into the institution. And we'll be happy to do much more of these.
My name is Jennifer Galeese. I'm now a deputy warden at Richland Correctional Institution and Reintegration Center, but I was employed as the warden's assistant at Richland when this project first started. And it's really nice to actually be able to see a project and the completion of it. As correctional staff, a lot of times we're tasked with to be involved with projects like this, and we don't actually get to see what the final resolution is. So to be a part of this today, thank you, Carol, for inviting us and having this event so we can actually get something out of it as well. What we see today is really what restorative justice is about. And it's a really great opportunity both for our staff and for the incarcerated population in our facilities to be a part of this. We appreciate that we're able to do something for a community here that's in need, and I know we certainly look forward to continue on partnerships like this. Without all the community stakeholders, without our staff, and obviously without the talents of our incarcerated population, things like this couldn't be done, where it is very much needed.
The inmates, there's a lot of artists here that when they came into corrections, they never picked up a brush, they'd never picked up an airbrush. They didn't know, and they, being in time and, of course, being in prison and whatnot can be slow time, and so of course, you learn about yourself, and what I've learned about these guys is they've learned about art, and a majority of them has never, they'd never knew about themselves that they were an artist.
So when we get involved in a project, there's usually a construction component, but for us it's also important to look for that service component and that connection to the community. And that's what we were able to do with this project. And it was important because most of my young people are living in the neighborhoods where they have boarded up houses beside them, or they have boarded up houses across the street. And unfortunately, some of them may have spent the night in some of those boarded up houses illegally. So for them to be able to come out into the community and make it look a little bit better and take some ownership and some pride in improving their community is always important for us.
Yeah, one of the one of the neat opportunities that I think this brings, in addition to doing the artwork within the prisons, is to integrate our community partners and our parole staff and those that are under supervision in our communities, with the possibility that maybe they could engage in community service, take the work that was done in prison and actually put it on the buildings and install it throughout the community. So that's something that we're going to explore very closely with our parole regional staff and our community partners in the Ohio communities.
As we look through the day, today's been a great day to be alive, and that's how I usually start my speaking engagements. And this whole tour, Carol, has brought life to our work. And it's brought the reality that the people that we are responsible for are human beings. And that at times everybody needs lifted up. I did when I was growing up. I needed lifted up. And I think it's a worthy career and calling to be part of that. So, Carol, thanks for that. Let's give Carol a round of applause, I think, for doing that. Thank you. And Maggie, thanks for being receptive, and all your staff for being receptive and finding the right activity therapist to be in charge of this project. But, you know, as I said earlier, our measure can be found in others. And the measure of the artist that have been a part of this, your measure is being found by the kids that have looked at this and the kids we've run into. You know, and Carol, I got to tell you, I was telling Andrew on the way over, you get a little nervous about what the neighborhood feels. I mean, I didn't know, but boy, they've been universally happy and supportive and pleased with this entire project. And I just hope that, one, the staff at Richland and the staff throughout our system, because Todd and I talked, we're going to share this throughout our system, and that they can see the value of this. And I hope more and more and more of our inmates in our prisons take a look at this kind of thing, understand that giving back to the community is an important part of all of our healing, and that we get more and more and more fellows and ladies involved with this project or something similar to that, because, you know, giving back to people, you know, it's a great thing, and it's just a worthy calling. So I just appreciate everybody spending the time. It was neat to have the mayor with us most of this tour. He hit all the houses. That's great. And he'll always have to be the #1 mayor doing this. So hopefully we get a lot of mayors and a lot of communities and a lot of prisons are going to follow suit here. But this will always be the origin of this, and it's neat that this was the origin, Maggie, of you and Carol, this community, this town of Canton. So it's a great day to be alive, and I hope this inspires others as it's inspired me. So thank you.